In this video, I will discuss about component scan filter types in our Spring application. This is the annotation at the rate component scan, and what happens by default that the provided base packages, we provide the base package and then the annotations with the stereotype annotations, all the classes that are annotated with at the rate component, at the rate service, at the rate repository, at the rate controller, all will be scanned. Not only this package, even its child packages too. So by default this happens. What we can do that we can filter it, what we want to scan and what we don't want to scan. Even we can also achieve one thing, that if we have not annotated with the stereotype annotations, those classes can also be scanned. Let's see how. When we use Spring component scan either in Java config or XML configuration, all the classes annotated by @component, @service, @repository and @controller stereotypes are by default auto detected. Using Spring filter, we can extend the ability of component scan. How do we use the extend filter? What we do that it has provided two attributes, include filters and exclude filters, and using these two attributes we can add or we can include or exclude classes to be scanned. Using Spring filter, we can extend the ability of component scan. Using filter, we can include those classes to auto detect which are not annotated by stereotype annotations, and at the same time we can exclude those classes not to auto detect which are annotated by stereotype annotations. So there are four types. We can use four types of filter type: annotation, aspect J, assignable and regex, and even custom. There are four types using which we can include and exclude. Okay, so let us understand one by one. What is annotation? Component scan of classes. I am talking about this filter, annotation filter. These are the filter types. So annotation filter type is component scan of classes can be included and excluded by configuring annotation name applied at class level. Let's see how. Suppose I have created my custom annotation. Okay, so what we can do that use include filters and assign my annotation.class. If you have created any, or you can write here any stereotype annotation such as address service, we can include only all that are annotated with address service, and at the same time if you want to exclude something by annotation, we can exclude all that are annotated with @repository. Even if you have created your own annotation, you can do this. Suppose I have created one annotation, a custom annotation. So what I am doing is that if I annotate my class with @my annotation, we can annotate it @component or @service or whatever. Even if we have created our own custom annotation, we can use that. So what I am doing that I want to scan, I want to create a component, I want to create calcutil as a component. So It is not necessary that you use only stereotype annotations. I have my own annotation and I have annotated with this. So what I can do is that use include filters and assign filter, okay, my annotation, and exclude filter in repository classes. In that case, what will happen? All classes annotated with component service controller will be auto detected. The classes annotated with repository will not be auto detected because we have excluded it. It means the classes that are annotated with my annotation or component service all will be auto detected, and repository, the classes annotated with repository will be excluded. Okay, the classes annotated with custom annotation, my annotation, will be auto detected. In this way, what I get that stereotype annotations plus my annotations and minus repository annotations, all those classes will be scanned by using this one. Let's see. Okay, so here I have included my annotation and excluded repository, and if there are other stereotype annotations such as service, those will also be included. I would like to show my application. I have created a DAO that is using repository, a service. It is annotated with nothing, Kelsey util. It is annotated with my annotation. So what will happen if I annotate this service, or let's see. Okay, so now I have a DAO annotated with repository, a service annotated with service, and a util class annotated with annotation. According to app config, my annotation will be included and repository will be excluded. So this one will be included, this class will be scanned, and this class will be excluded, will not be scanned. Okay, and as we know that all the stereotype annotations will also be scanned if it is not excluded using exclude filter. So service and annotation classes will also be included in auto detection. In the output, what I am doing that I am accessing all those classes, Kelsey util, DAO, and service. All these three I am accessing. If it will not be able to scan, then we will get an error. Let's run it. Look, I got this message from Kelsey util. It means Kelsey util has been scanned and it was annotated with my annotation. This was custom annotation. Book DAO, it was not scanned. No qualifying bin. Why? Because it was annotated with repository and I have excluded using exclude filter. Okay, and this is this message from service, and this is service, so this has been included. Okay, so in this way, what happens that I have used include filters and include filters using annotation type. Okay, suppose if I write here service, then what will happen that only service will be included and repository will not be included, and this will also not be included. My annotation class will also not be included. Got it? Else util not available, DAO not available, only service is included. If we remove this part, if I'm not excluding anything, then what will happen that, as we know that service class by default is included, so it has no meaning. Stereotype annotations are by default auto detected. So include anything by using custom annotation has some meaning, or we can exclude using annotation. Suppose I am using service, so this will be excluded, but this time at the repository will be included, because by default our stereotype annotations are included. Look, util class, this is from service, this is from DAO class, and service is not included because I have excluded it from here. Okay, so this was basically filter using annotation. We can use other filter type like assignable. Using interface name, we can assign interface name or class name that has been implemented or extended by the classes. We can include and exclude classes in component scanning. What is assignable? Let us understand about the assignable. Look at this. Filter type is filter type assignable. So the classes, we can assign more than one classes. Here I am using iUser service. This is an interface. So even if I don't use @service class, @service annotation, that will be detected by component scan. All this will happen in the base package, the com.concretepage, and it's a child package only. So this time I have included filters using assignable type, and the class is iUser service. This is interface. So all the classes that are implementing iUser service interface will be included. And what I am doing that in the same way, I am using exclude filter for the iCalc util. So this time calc util will not be included. Okay, and service that have annotated with nothing will be included, because I am using include filter by its class name. Let's run it. Look, calc util is not, we cannot, it is not detecting because it has no stereotype annotations, and at the same time it has been excluded using assignable classes. Even if I use the annotation, stereotype annotation, suppose I am using component, still it is not scanning because we have filtered it. Okay, so this was the assignable. We can use the class name to include and exclude. Now, in the same way, there are aspect, regex, and some custom way. We can also create custom filter type by implementing type filter. So let's see two more, aspect and regex. We can use aspect and reject. Using aspect expression targeting classes names, it can be included and excluded in component scanning. Regex, using regex expression targeting classes names, it can be included and excluded in component scanning. So this is aspect J. We can use this. Suppose I am using filter time aspect J pattern com.u concrete page dash dash star util plus this is aspect. So I'm including using aspect J in this way and excluding aspect J using this way. So util will be included and DAO will be excluded. We can see here all classes annotated with component, service, repository and controller will be auto detected. The classes that name ends with util will be auto detected because I am using aspect J, and the classes that name ends with DAO will not be detected. Even if the classes have been annotated with stereotype annotations, they will not be included. Okay, I will run once. So what will happen that only util classes will be scanned and other classes that are annotated with stereotype annotations will be scanned. I need a dependency for that for aspect J. So right now we can see regex. To run aspect J, we need the aspect J dependency. But right now I am using regex. What will happen with the regex? Look at this. I am including filters with the regex. All classes annotated with component, repository and controller will be auto detected. The classes that names ends with service will be auto detected. The classes that name ends with DAO will not be auto detected even if the classes have been annotated with stereotype annotations. Okay. So what we see that service classes has been included and DAO has been excluded. This message is from service class. DAO has been excluded and Kelsey util because it has no annotations. If I annotate with component, this will be included because I am not excluding util, only I am excluding DAO. Service class is not annotated with address service, but it has been auto detected. So service has been auto detected, DAO excluded, and for the util right now I have added a component. Now it will be auto detected. Okay. Now only DAO has been excluded. We can also use mix approach to We can include and exclude with mixed approach too. Suppose I am including filters using regex and I am excluding filters using assignable types. Okay. What I am doing here? I have included using regex and util classes will be included, and I am excluded using assignable type iService. So service class is not available. DAO is available because I have used @repository, and util has been included. Even if I delete it, it will be included because I have used include filters with regex for the util classes. Okay, so only services is not available. In this way, we can use filter types in our component scan annotation. Okay, thank you.